This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who were our first teachers and storytellers. I extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Welcome to the Habit Nerd podcast. I'm Dr. Bree Hearn, and if you're interested in habits, those tiny, powerful behaviours that shape who we are and what we achieve, you've absolutely landed in the right place. Join me each week as I interview a wide range of experts, dive into evidence-based strategies, and give you practical tools to help you build habits that stick and break the ones that hold you back. Hey friends, and welcome back to The Habit Nerd, the show where we geek out over the science, psychology, and systems behind better habits. I'm your host, Bree. I'm a researcher, lecturer, speaker, and a coach by day, but a total habit nerd by night. Now today, friends, we're diving into a beautifully simple productivity method that's been around for more than a century. But honestly, in 2026, it feels more relevant than ever. It's called the Ivy Lee method. It's simple. It has exactly 6 easy to follow steps. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, if you're juggling competing priorities, or if your to-do list feels like it's growing 3 new tasks every time you cross one off, then hopefully you find this episode helpful. So I'm going to tell you a story. It dates back to 1918, so almost 100 years ago. People were already overwhelmed at work. It turns out that too many tabs open in my brain is not a modern problem. So the story is about a industrialist named Charles Schwab. Now, he was the leader of a company called Bethlehem Steel, and he wanted to increase the productivity of his management team. So Schwab was referred to a man named Ivy Lee. Lee was a pioneer in public relations and productivity. So Schwab asked him for help. Lee offered to train each executive in the management team for just 15 minutes, with the condition that Schwab would pay only what he had deemed the advice was worth after 3 months. So the result after 3 months, so 12 weeks work in Bethlehem Steel, was that the Ivy Lee strategy was so successful in boosting company output and efficiency that Schwab willingly paid Lee $25,000, and in today's equivalents, that would be roughly between $400,000 and $500,000. So think about that. All Lee did was train each of the executives at Bethlehem Steel for 15 minutes, and that was all. So, all for 6 steps. Now, whether or not the story's been polished over time, the method itself remains powerful, and it's backed by what we now know about cognitive load, prioritization, and behavior design. So here's how the Ivy Lee method works. The first of the 6 steps is this. At the end of each workday, you write down 6 and only 6 tasks that you need to accomplish tomorrow. Not 15 tasks, not everything in your inbox, just the 6 most important. The second step is that you order those 6 tasks by true priority, from most important to least important. The most painful part here is that you must choose. Then tomorrow, so we're up to step 3, you must start with task number 1, and you must work on it until it is completed. Not until you get bored, not until something quote unquote urgent pings you on your Teams or your Slack or your email, until task 1 is done. Then you move on to task 2, then task 3, and so on. You are not allowed to jump around the list. Number 5 step, if you don't finish all 6 tasks, you roll the unfinished ones onto your list for the next day. But still, no more than 6. The constraint is part of the magic. The final step is that you repeat this process every workday. The reason we repeat it is because it becomes a rhythm and a ritual. It's really simple, but it's not always easy. And it can be potentially life-changing for how much work you get through. So why is this century-old pen and paper method still so effective? Habit nerds, if you'll indulge me, I'm going to nerd out on this just for a little bit. The first reason it's effective is it reduces decision fatigue. Now, every morning, most of us have already used up a whole heap of cognitive resources thinking. Should I get up and exercise, or do I need to sleep in? What should I wear today? Does this shirt need an iron? What am I packing for my lunch? What are my family having for lunch? What time shall I leave based on traffic today? Or what about the PT schedule? What's the weather doing? Then we get into work and we burn more energy asking, what should I work on first? With the Ivy Lee method, this plan is already decided and your brain loves this. The second reason the Ivy Lee method works based on behavior design is that it forces prioritization. Psychologically, we tend to choose the tasks that are the easiest, not the most important. The Ivy Lee method, though, makes avoidance much harder. The third reason the Ivy Lee method works is that it creates focus through single tasking. Multitasking is a myth. It feels productive, but it's actually task switching, and that is tax on your brain. One task at a time makes progress unavoidable. The fourth reason it works is that it enforces constraints. A list of 6 is manageable. A list of 30 is a recipe for guilt and self-loathing. A list of 30 is a wish list, not a to-do list. And the final reason that this strategy works in terms of behavioral design is that it supports momentum. Finishing a task gives you a dopamine hit, a supportive feedback loop, and then starting the day with a win makes the next win much more likely. Focusing on the Ivy Lee method, if I think about my own life and my own work, it might be helpful if I show you an example of how simple this is in action. So I could imagine that tomorrow my day might look like this. I need to record an online lecture. I need to reply to about 35 important emails. I need to prepare the slides for a workshop that I'm teaching next week. I need to review and give feedback on a colleague's research article. I need to research and draft the overview of a podcast on morning routines, and I need to finish one section of a grant application that I'm working on as part of a team. So there's 6 there. I choose my top 6 and then I force myself to rank them. So now I'm ranking them. It becomes in order of importance in terms of who's waiting for it, in terms of due date, in terms of what is actually important for my role. The first one would be to finish the section on the grant application. Number 2 would be to record the online lecture. Number 3 would be to prepare next week's slides for next week's class. Number 4 would be to review my colleague's research article. Number 5 would be do the high-level drafting of the morning routine podcast episode. And number 6 would be to reply to the emails. Now, do you notice what happened? The emails went to the bottom of my list because yes, they feel urgent, but they don't move the needle. The Ivy Lee method protects your energy from busy work and it directs it towards meaningful work. Now, if I can give you some help with how to start the Ivy Lee method and stick with it, maybe you might think about this recommendation. Start tonight. Not later, not Monday, tonight. Grab a piece of paper. I like to do it in my notebook. Write 6 tasks for tomorrow. Then rank them. Notice how much calmer you'll feel going into the next day. Now, if you're trying to stick with the Ivy Lee method, don't overthink the list. Be really disciplined about not adding tasks at midday. Try not to cheat the order. And don't skip the end of day ritual where you look at how you went, what you didn't get done, and rolling that task over to tomorrow's 6. And please, habit nerds, don't aim for perfection, aim for clarity. So that's it. That's the Ivy Lee method. 6 tasks, 1 list, 1 day at a time. If you have a go at it, send me a DM or give me a comment over on Instagram. I would love to hear how it works for you. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit follow or share it with a friend who has approximately 87 tabs open right now in their brain. And join me next time as we break down another tiny habit with big impact. Thanks for being with me today. Keep experimenting, keep refining, keep nerding out on better habits, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you in our next episode. Thanks for being here for another episode of the Habit Nerd Podcast. I am so grateful for your time. If you enjoyed it or gained a fresh perspective, please share it with a friend, or maybe you feel like giving it a 5-star review, which will take you less than 30 seconds. I do love all of my habit nerds, and I see you showing up every day as your wonderful selves. So until next time, take care.